This is Michelle Powers with Angel Messages, the only podcast sharing direct messages from angels. Today, I have a couple from Hawaii that recently lost their son to one of these horrific terrorist attacks that seem to be more and more common these days. Paola and Conrad have gone above and beyond to be able to share their message and share their sacred experience. Thank you guys for being with me today and just taking the time to sit down with me. And I really just wanted you to be able to go back and share your story.
We have our beautiful son. His name is Nicolas. I'm from Italy, and I met my husband, Conrad, and we just I just went in San Diego in California just to study English, and I met him, and we just fell in love, and we got married, and after 2 years we had our Nicolas.
Yeah, he was just a wonderful child, and it was like by I think 3 years old he was already skin diving, snorkeling in Aruba. He learned how to kite surf by 9 years old. He was a great fisherman. We used to go paddle out on our surfboards and catch fish. He was like my little buddy. I couldn't wait for him to grow up so we could do more and more fun things.
We put all our love to him, and he grew up to be such an incredible kid. He gave us so much joy, so much, it was our light, everything for us.
And then he just sprouted. He eventually became like 6'4", was like just a pure athlete. Everything he would do, it was just like, he would pull it off. And intelligent, he was super bright.
He grew up to be such an incredible young adult.
One thing that he didn't believe was in life after death, and I had a hard time trying to convince him that he had to believe in something else. But he was like, no, Dad, it's like a computer. When you go, you turn off the computer. And then we had like a interesting episode where, Paola was watching television, and within 1 minute of sitting down on the couch, she grabbed me and she goes, I just felt a message to tell Nicolas that there's life after death. We didn't believe anything like that. I mean, we never really talked about that kind of stuff, and for her to say that, it was really odd. And within 15 minutes of her telling me that, we received a call from the hospital saying that my mom had passed away. And then we had a hard time, we said, wow, do we tell Nick this? And we decided it was such a direct message that we had to tell him. And I remember that he just looked at me and he said, kind of like analytically. About a year before this happened, we were in the car together. I could tell by his voice something was wrong. And he just broke down and he said, I just don't know. He said, I have a happy life, I'm happy, I'm super popular in school, I'm doing great, everything's fine, my parents love me, yet I feel like this world is not enough for me.
He decided to go to take this study abroad in Nice. And then on July 14, there was the terrorist attack.
Yeah, he was just walking with a group of his friends on the Promenade Anglais. Just ahead of the group, this man with a large truck went and entered the barricade. Told the police that they was delivering ice cream or some weird story, and they let him in because they were not allowed to have any big trucks there. And he went there, and he went down almost, I think, like a couple miles on the promenade, just mowing down people. He got 86 people that day, and I think he injured, I don't know how many more, but I mean, it was terrible in that we couldn't find him, and the French police basically wouldn't say, what had happened, or who was missing. We get a telephone call from this private agency, like a detective agency. He called us right before we left LA, and he goes, Mr. Leslie, we have good news. So when we took the plane, we were still feeling optimistic, and then once we landed in Paris, for the layover to take the flight to Nice, that's when we got to know the news.
I felt him so strongly the minute I walked into the door, and I could start hearing messages right away. He is just so full of light and just so full of love and gratitude to both of you for everything that you gave him. He started showing me that you gave him gift after gift after gift. the gift of life over and over and over because he had such a full life. What you shared about your mother was such a huge turning point for him. It changed his point of view, and he was able to let in more light and knowledge into his being. And he could really connect with the truth of an afterlife and with the truth of being able to live on.
We're really happy to see that in some of the notes that we saw, that we retrieved out of his computer. And I was like, wow, so he finally, I think he changed whatever we said, I think might have helped him expand a little bit.
He keeps going back to his childhood and how happy and how peaceful and how full of life. He had such a beautiful, incredible life that he just treasures every moment.
It was such a happy house. He would he would just run. We had a long hallway. And he would just run from one place to the other. He'd play soccer inside the house, and I would just like, Nicholas.
He treasures all of those memories. He shows me being like a doctor. He's helping people to cross over because he understands love, and he understands healing, and he understands family and the importance of coming together and being one. He can help people to cross over and heal, and he helps them to find peace. And there's something that a lot of people need to know and understand is that there is no time or space where they are, so they're able to be with us always. Their spirits can reach out to many, many, many people at one time. He's showing me he transitioned very quickly. So when he crossed over, he was at peace. He could see both of you, and he could see the details and everything that you were going through, and he was able to help you heal and be with you. He communicates more through your dreams, Paola, because he's able to connect with you there. It's like your thin place, or your place where you're able to connect more easily, because he's going to be involved in every ounce of every choice that you make. He's going to be right there helping you to just reconnect with your heart again and continue healing. But he wants you to go on adventures. He wants you to keep doing these things that brought you joy in the past and keep moving forward with that joy and that peace. And I've never been shown this before, but he's showing me, because he's such a team player, or he's so good at bringing people together, that he even brings people together to do these things that he loved to do. So to almost create teams, which I've never seen this ever before, but he has created teams.
Because that's what they told us, and his classmates said that. He goes, God, Nick was so incredible. People that didn't even know him in Nice, they said that he would go up and he'd be able to get, he said in one particular bar they were at, or pub, there was a group of people upstairs and they were downstairs, and Nick says, wait a minute. And he went upstairs and talked to the people, and before you know it, he brought them downstairs and they made one big group, and they were partying and dancing, and he really liked the underdog. He just had the most eclectic group of people, and he would just bring him together.
Yes.
And so now he's still doing it.
He's still doing it.
He's still doing it.
He's still doing it. Yes, he's bringing people together, and especially the ones that are having a hard time transitioning. He just stepped into his new, if you want to call them jobs in heaven, he just took them on immediately. He knew that he wanted to help people, and he knew that he wanted to be there for his family. He's able to use his gifts that he came to this earth with just in a bigger way. And he's just showing me how that he couldn't do the things that he's doing without both of you and all the things that you taught him and all the love that you gave him and all the incredible teaching moments that you took advantage of as he was growing up. And all of those things he is able to recall. So when he crossed over, it was like he saw a movie of his life, and all those teaching moments came up.
So I have a question, and I don't know, I struggle all the time. I think I don't know, I'm studying about the soul plans, all these, the things and spirituality things, and I don't know if it was a random things. I know there is a kind of nobody can know it, but I don't know if he has some message to give it to you.
She's always confused whether or not if what happened was random or was it destiny. Was it just random that he was right there at that moment? Because like we always say, God, if it would have been delayed just a couple seconds,
Mm-hmm. Well, he shows me that it is part of his destiny to be there doing the work that he's doing right now. And that he did have a warning that came through just moments before. Almost like he knew he was being prepared what was going to happen. And he didn't suffer. It was like this instant crossing where his body and his spirit separated, no suffering. He was immediately at peace, in a place of peace. And that his spirit was surrounded with family. And he says as he healed and he moved forward and he went through this transition, he was able to see a little bit into the future. Sometimes he would get little glimpses of where you would be, how you would find out, how you would be healing, how he could help you. He's giving me the feeling, and he's showing me that he's bringing people into your life. It's very well orchestrated. It's not by happen chance that certain people are coming into your life. It's helping you to heal. It's helping you to take those next steps.
It's really interesting what you said about surrounded by his family too, that right before he left Tunis, almost I think the night before, he number one, he went up our stairs and he saw these photos of us, doing things from little, and he said, we really all grew up together, didn't we? Like grew up, like we all grew up together. And I was like, yeah, And then he came down, he goes, Dad, I know everything about my family in my Italian side, and when I see him, I'm so connected with him, but you've never really told me much about your side of the family. Because we were kind of, my mom was divorced and stuff. And he goes, you got to sit down. I want to hear everything. I want to know everything. And he sat down on the couch, and he made me tell this whole story, how my mom met, where they lived, and how they fell in love, and how my dad was before and stuff. So he went through this, like, wanting to know. And then before he went to Nice, he was in Milan, and he went to visit the cemetery where his other grandmother was, and he was asking Fabio, his uncle, he goes, tell me, I want to know, who is this person, who is this, and who is that, and want to know everybody in the family.
Does he has a lot of friends? What he does? I'm always curious. I've been his mom. I always wanted to know what he, Yes. I always torture myself thinking, because I can,
Yes. He's just showing me how his family's number one. Like that keeps coming up over and over and over. His family is number one. He has a greater understanding of how connected we really are. We're so connected. And we're connected to our family members that go way, 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 way back. And when we're here doing hard things and changing things about ourselves, maybe old habits that we want to break or things that we want to better about ourselves, that we're actually helping our family members. We're that connected. So they're watching us and they're learning and they're growing and they're able to see our lives and move and grow with us. So both of you, he has shown me over and over how both of you are chain breakers for your family. So you're doing a lot to help your family members, not just him, but many, many family members to heal on the other side because they're learning from you. And if there were things that they weren't able to overcome here, they have that opportunity to still progress and move forward. It's kind of in that spiritual DNA is what he's showing me. We don't have that physical DNA when we're there, but we have this spiritual DNA. That's why things pass down through our family. And it can be tendencies, it can be bad habits or whatever it is, but we can change those things. And, I've felt your loved ones have stepped back so that Nicolas could step forward and speak and say all the things that are in his heart. And now Nicolas is showing me how he's allowing your mom to speak up and say some things because he really wants her to be able to share some things that's in her heart. And she's learning through all of your experiences, especially what you're going through right now. And there was a lot of things that she didn't know before she passed. There was a lot of things she had a hard time believing or connecting with. And she's learning through your experiences. And she didn't know how much negative thoughts in her mind influenced her life. So when she crossed over, she was in a state of learning still, being able to learn through her family members. And you are a big, big teacher for her. So as you're on this spiritual journey right now, you're teaching her a lot.
That's so on the money on that, because that's how she was. She always thought something bad was going to happen, like don't go there or something bad or this. And we didn't pick up the phone. She would start to get panicked. And then same with Paula, she almost had the same thing too. She would always worry and have these bad thoughts in her head. And I would say, look, you can't think like that. You got to think positive. And now, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely this tragedy. It gave me the change of my spiritual. Like I'm growing.
Yes. The more that you are both reaching out and helping others, it's helping you to just heal in so many incredible ways. And it's changing your heart. And it's letting that love flow through you to other people. And that's how he is able to work through you in big, big ways.
We love him so much. We miss him so much.
He loves you, and he always hears you. He always hears all of your messages. He hears when you speak to him. He hears what's in your heart, and even when you're speaking in your mind. And Nicolas is saying, what are they going to take from this? Like, he knows what's in your heart, but he almost wants you to say it out loud because it's so powerful.
That he's still bigger than life for me, and that I really want to live my life just to honor him. The original Greek name version of the name Nicolas means people's victory. And we believe that, that we will all be victorious once we stop this hate. And even if it happens one person at a time.
The gift that Nicolas gave to me in all this, helping me to grow and to change, and probably that's what my soul needed to do. To evolve in my spirituality, because I will never ever reach this level like I'm right now, in this level of and be able also to talk with other people, my family too, my brothers, and everybody is going into this journey, and we are all kind of expanding, and it's all thanks to Nicolas.
I think it's important that anyone who listens to this podcast can just go and share this with other people so that they can also connect with Nicolas, connect with his light and his love, and he's able to share his message. It's going to just keep going out. And he's showing me a ripple effect. It's just going to keep going.